On my Area 51 line, you're on the air. Hello.
Welcome to the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, where what you've known as reality will be shattered by the truth. Krista and Brandy will lift the veil from your eyes, revealing what has either been hidden or denied you for eons. Hell, let's see what else I can screw up before we get started. How you doing, everybody?
I was like, this is technically not a Blondes and Booze show, Tex.
Yeah.
I mean, well, welcome to everybody to Paranormal Show and Tell. And can we change the background?
You know what? We
can't. There's a technical reason why we cannot, because Tex loaded up a bunch of stuff and he used this.
He used Blondes and Booze instead of Show and Tell.
Yeah, he used this. What was it? This brand.
Yeah.
And you know what? Randy's not here. It's not the same without Randy. We might as well just make this a regular blonde show.
You know, he's been out investigating. Yeah. You know, he's looking into the ghosties and stuff, and now he's he's working.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's been a very busy guy. We have to give him that.
Yeah.
He's out doing the investigation, so we got to give him that.
We could always change the show to this.
Crossing Realms Conference, everybody, September 19th and 20th at the Eagleton Civic Center in Richmond, Missouri. Don't forget, we have a meet and greet on Friday night. We have, of course, the conference all day Saturday. The ghost hunt is sold out, but we have Mary Lynn Baston, who's going to be doing a gallery reading. We have all kinds of stuff. Go to Eventbrite under Crossing Realms Conference, and all the information is there. We still have vendor spots available because we have wide open spaces, everyone. So, go check us out. And don't forget, we do have a cutoff for the speaker presentation. So you'll have to get your tickets before they do run out. Unfortunately, the building is only so big.
Yep.
Only so big.
And we added two new special guests.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
I thought it was one.
Okay.
No, it's two. It's two. Remember, because we keep talking about how Krista and I and Tex and all of us got together. We're going, hey, let's do a little something small. No, we don't know how to do that.
We don't know what small is.
We don't know. The island of misfit toys just keeps growing. And here we are.
I've decided small is probably 25.
25. Okay, so Krista, let us know, who is our two new speakers, our two new guests?
Two new special guests. We have D.A. Weissum. She was on BMR show last night. She's an author. She's going to bring books to sell. So it's going to be great to finally meet her in person. She's also going to be coming on Blondes. We have her in May scheduled, Brandy. So,
awesome.
So anyway, that'll be fun. And then the second one, I'll let you give the honors.
You know, we've talked about him just recently, and we talked about him, and he is the face, the man of the Villisca X murder house.
Oh, yes, I heard that.
Now, if we have been paying attention in the paranormal community, we know that someone, he's going to remain nameless because I don't want to get angry, but someone came in, bought the whole Villisca property and all of that stuff, promised Johnny that he would have a job, that he would have insurance, blah, blah, blah. Well, he only kept him so long, then he fired him. So not only did he lose his job, his insurance, he lost the house that he was living in because that is part of Villisca, all of that property, and he is a single dad. So we are just totally excited to have him coming, and he's going to be speaking on all the stuff that that Chris and I already know, but you may not know. So make sure you buy those tickets and you'll be able to see him too. So we're super honored to have Johnny Hauser at our event.
Yeah, and he is just a super nice guy. And you get him and Josh Hurd together. Holy cow.
Wow. Awesome.
We're going to be in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. So I recommend not coming in for Saturday. Come in Friday and Saturday. You're going to love it.
Right. It's going to be a great time.
And we will be there as long as we bring enough bail money, because we're going to.
Yeah.
I'm saving for mine now.
I already put mine aside.
I'm saving for mine now. My mom's going to know. I'm going to say, hey, look, I'm going to give you this money. Hang on to it until I get home. Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
if I get home, you might have to come get me.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I get home.
That's why I thought that I would just get a one-way ticket.
I didn't get a one-way ticket.
You know, you also know, looking at this, Friday, come down Friday, because we're going to have probably as many speakers on Friday as we do Saturday. I mean, not as many. We're going to have 40%. We're going to have both shows be fantastic.
Well, we're going to have 2 speakers on Friday, plus actually 3, but that's Chris Garantano, and he's going to be showing his documentary. Yeah. So that's going to be awesome. It's dinner and a movie, ladies and gentlemen.
And popcorn.
And popcorn with your favorite people. That's us.
I've got another surprise for you.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
If we can squeeze it in somewhere.
Oh, no. He starts laughing. Everybody should know we're in trouble.
Hey, Tex, here's the thing. You know, we can squeeze in anybody. The problem is getting with Mr. McLean. I think he now ran out of paper.
Well,
Jason
fortunately, this doesn't require any changes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We're good then.
He's already coming, but Greg Ogles is going to be bringing his latest film.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
So if we have time, and if everybody wants to hang out or whatever, he said he will screen it.
It's speakers and a double feature.
Oh boy.
You know, I'm good with keeping. So I'm good with keeping the Eagleton open later. We can do a double feature that Friday night if everybody's up for it.
That's right.
I am.
Exactly. I don't know.
So there you go.
What's great about these conferences, and I already knew this well in advance, we are not going to be sleeping. We'll be running on caffeine, little alcohol during the off hours. Monsters, ghosts.
Telling me, Krista, why don't you? I am a Monster coffee fiend.
Yes, Monster. The Monster drink. Yes.
Yeah, the Monster coffees, not the regular Monsters. I like the Monster coffees. I live on those.
Yeah. Is there a Buc-ee's nearby?
No,
you're in the middle of nowhere, Rob.
You'll find Bigfoot or a dog man before you'll find a Buc-ee's.
You're lucky we have indoor toilets. What are you talking about?
True story.
Yeah. Well, were we staying at the Super 8?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The nicest place in town. Matter of fact, it's the only one.
Well, there's another one 8 miles. Well, there's another one 8 miles up the road, Brandy. Not too.
Yeah, but that's in another town. It doesn't count.
People.
Doesn't count.
Okay.
And then there's another one about 12 miles away that's super, super expensive. So,
but haunted.
But haunted. Yeah.
What is that called? The Elkhorn?
The Elms.
Elms. I knew it was something. The Elms. Yeah, the Elms. So it's super haunted. So
but
if all you slurs out there, you can run.
It certainly has nothing to do with Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, another option for people if you didn't want to stay in a hotel, is there a way that people could, like, if they had an RV?
So we have the whole fairgrounds at our disposal. They don't want a bunch of RVs, but if somebody wants to come and pop a tent, that would be okay.
Okay.
But not RVs.
Or I'm sure there's some KOAs that are close too. So don't forget that.
So we have access if we need it. I don't want to put it out there yet because honestly, the way we're growing, we may need it. But
We may need it. Yeah, I wouldn't even say that we would have that available. I would just say check for the KOAs or other camping resorts in the area because I know there are some.
So
I've seen them.
another option, you guys, but I'm guessing now that I'm putting this in my head, there's probably not a lot of, which are relatively cheap. I was so surprised when I started looking into this. Airbnbs are probably few and far between where we're at.
So
Closest home is probably 20 miles away.
So we actually looked into one. Aaron Smith and I just the other day we were looking into one that looked pretty reasonable because I thought, well, maybe some of us could stay in Airbnb. It's right there. It was actually really nice and
Right, so we can give up the hotel rooms, right?
Yeah, but it was taken already.
Oh,
A lot of them are taken already that weekend. So
Already done, yeah. But we tried because we were going to give up our hotel room so that somebody else can have them. First come, first serve. We were going to do that. Well, that didn't work out.
Maybe we should charge your rent and sleep.
I do have a plan B though. I do have a plan B. We'll talk off camera.
Okay.
We do have a plan B. Hey, as long as I got
we can all.
As long as I got the facilities with running water, that's good for me.
Well, Brandy, you know where I'm talking. You've stayed there before.
We can all sleep in the basement of the haunted facility that we'll be researching.
Well, we might be able to sweet talk Kathy into just crashing at the museum. Who knows?
That's a whole lot of people to be sharing, though.
It'll be another night at the museum, part 3.
There's 3-4 bathrooms at the museum that work.
I wouldn't say where things come to life because
they're all dead
they
already.
Don't. They're already gone already.
They're reanimated.
But they sure do let you know they're still there.
That's all we need.
Okay. All right, everybody. So anyway, that's about the conference. That's good enough. We'll keep updating everybody as this thing keeps expanding. I can't tell everybody why or how or it's just
really
and we're super excited.
We really need to put a hard stop on this because it's already outrageous.
But you
know what? What it is just a whole bunch of friends getting together. We'll just let you know who's going to be there. That's all.
Yeah, pretty much.
And people are just coming and bringing their stuff, like DIY song last night. She was going to come and going to bring her stuff, some books to sell and stuff. I'm all good with that. Anybody that wants to come to that are our friends are more than welcome to come and do that. We will promote you.
Yeah, we have vendor spots. We have vendor spots up the wazoo. Yeah. Because we've got that, like Krista said.
Yeah, is actually Chris Grizzly too. He's got a vendor spot, so he'll be there too. He's a podcaster. So
exactly. And podcasters are welcome. Hey, we would enjoy you coming. Doing some lives, talking to the guests. Yep. Hey, we'd love it. So all those podcasters keep that in mind.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
The more the merrier. You never have enough.
Because we're going to be busy.
Yep. And the thing is too, we're all about promoting unity and we're all in this together. And ultimately at the end of the day, we're all looking for the same answers, so there's no drama. We leave that at the door, everybody just come and learn from one another and make new friends. And, that's what our conference is about. So
Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya.
And if you're a single lady and a Bigfoot groupie, you'll hit me up. That's why I'm going to be there, at least. That's my reason.
We're still doing this, Donnie. We've talked about this.
Right.
This is not the place.
This is the sole reason for my attendance.
Is this going to be the first Bigfoot singles event? Is this one?
Yes.
Bigfoot singles event.
I heard rumors that Bigfoot groupies do exist. They're more elusive than Bigfoot himself.
Yeah.
But they're there. I do believe. Yes. I believe, guys. I believe.
You believe. Well, keep on believing.
You believe.
Because you must not have been to very many conferences.
I want to believe,
some
guys.
of the women that come to the conferences, Donnie.
I want to believe they're out there.
And we love every one of them.
They are out there, Donnie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Donnie, they are out there.
There's one of their footprints right there,
Donnie. The elusive Bigfoot groupie.
Right there.
Yes.
hunting us down
All
on the
right.
Brown Springs
Anyway.
Red River.
Okay. Okay,
looks
we're gonna
like
get serious. Everybody breathe. Okay.
I had to
Okay.
do something to put the brakes on this thing. I mean,
I know we were running away with it, and I'm very sorry. But anyway, but this is one of the favorite topics of Texas and mine. We love Brown Springs. It has just it just keeps offering up more and more and more, and it is just a fantastic place. And I had called Tex today, and I was up to my eyeballs in work, and that's the words I used to him. I said, "Look, I don't have a topic. I haven't scheduled the show." I said, "Hey, can you pick a topic and schedule a show?" He says, "No problem." I said, "Okay." So Donnie then texts me later, and he says, "Well, what's the topic today?" I said, "Texas choice," because I didn't know. So there
we
all right,
go.
so Tex is going to explain to us what we're looking at.
so this is down on the Red River in Brown Springs, and of course we got this. There's several of these that were found that on one trip, and I'm sure Pops is in the chat. He was the main one that found these, and it's not only just a track. Okay, you have this track. There's this one.
Wow, those are great.
Yeah.
That's a nice print.
Yeah.
You have this one, which is weird looking.
That is
Those look like they squished up some mud between their toes.
Yeah, there's this one. You can see right here the mid parcel break really stands out right there.
Real quick, Tex. Freaky Geek asks, "Is the ground clay?"
That is, it's Red River, so yeah, it's a mud. It's muddy clay down there.
A mixture.
So,
yeah.
Very cool.
Now this is the trackway.
Oh wow!
Whoa!
No way. That's sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now, what was one of the things that was crazy about this trackway is it appeared in a 2-hour window, because Pops had throw lines out, and because we usually don't go down there without doing some kind of fishing.
Where's this Red River bed again? Tex, just
it is the Red River borders is the border between Texas and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
On I-35.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
The Love County Wildlife Management Area is where Brown Springs is located, and that's where these were found.
Very cool.
But he had throw lines out, and he was checking them about every 2 hours. And him and Ranger, I believe, went down there, and there was none of this was there. And then they went back to check the lines, and these footprints were there. We know they weren't there because there were, I believe it was raccoon tracks, if I remember right. Let's see if I can bring this up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, right over on the hill where this foot track is actually on top of the raccoon track. So those raccoon tracks were there, and then these footprints are on top of it. Now, a lot of people may argue that, well, it could have been people. Okay, well, yeah, it could have been. But the thing about it is, you can hear boats when they come up and down the river. Okay, from where we're camping. We never heard a boat. We never heard a boat. We looked up and down the river. Found nowhere where a boat had been landed, where nobody had come up through out of the river. You know, so it kind of. I'm not going to say it's not impossible. You know, somebody with really big feet could have come down through there, but it kind of takes the human element out of it. So what the hell made these things?
What was the spring, winter, fall, summer. When was this again?
I believe this was like late spring, something like that.
So pretty cold for somebody, a human, to be walking around.
No. It'd been warm enough. It'd been warm enough. But
warm enough?
yeah, but having been there and running through there, you want to wear shoes.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Well, even just like snakes and stuff, you want to protect yourself from that.
Yes. You don't want to run around there without shoes on.
Okay.
Period.
It was in May. It was in May.
Oh gosh, absolutely! You don't want to run around there in your bare feet. No.
Snakes.
Mm-hmm. Among other things.
That place does have its share of snakes. I mean,
yes, it does.
You can't drive down the road hardly in spring and not run over several.
Well, if it's anything like where Brandy and I just were in Arkansas with Will Lunsford, that's pretty snake infested. We actually saw a snake, didn't we, Brandy?
Yeah, we sure did.
They're out. If it's anything like that, man.
Of course, we had to stop and hang out the window and look at it.
I had to see what kind it was.
She did, and she knew. So, I mean, hey, Kristen knows her snakes, so she can tell you that's going to hurt when you get bit, but you're not going to die. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, here is one that Red River Cryptids. They are a father-son team, and they're friends of ours. This is a track that they got that they found down there, and it is freaking phenomenal.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Look at the size of that. Holy noodles.
Yeah, look at how wide it is.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Oh.
Tex.
Rob.
Brown Springs, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm thinking perhaps I might have to lift the ban on my channel for Brown Springs. I don't know. This is fantastic.
I might have to lift the ban.
Is there a ban?
I banned Brown Springs from all conversations several months ago, years ago.
Now, Donnie Cho was talking about the elusive Bigfoot groupies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, he did.
Oh, look at that person. God,
There is a Bigfoot groupie right there.
That's croupy creepy.
Donnie,
Do I remember that?
Oh man, that's more like a Bigfoot bear.
Yeah.
He also looks like an overgrown leprechaun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
The hat is perfect.
Junior,
Junior,
that's Junior's bowler, and he said, I said, you let me try it on, and I had somebody take a picture of me. I sent it to my wife, and I said, hey, here's my new hat. I get one word response back. Nope.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
I said, yes, ma'am.
Well, in chat, OPR 357 says steampunk Bigfoot researcher. I agree. I agree.
Yep. So how far, when you guys camp down there, how far is your camping area from like where these prints were?
About 4 or 5 miles, isn't it?
No, not at all. It's about a couple of 100 yards.
Oh, no. From when we go in.
Yeah.
When we go into the campsite, it is 4 or 5 miles, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's 4 or 5 miles, and then it's just right over to it. So
yeah. When you
can walk to it easily.
It's about 4 miles, about 3 or 4 miles back once you leave pavement.
Once you leave pavement, well then there's that.
You leave pavement and then you leave gravel and then you hit the dirt and then you hit the campsite. So
exactly. But I mean, to get to the river from where we camp, you can walk to it, and I'm going to tell you this: it is a beautiful walk.
Yeah,
it's beautiful in there, and I mean, but then you start seeing, all of your signs of the wildlife in the area. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, this is why I wear shoes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like, where I would bring snake boots to. That's where I'd wear my
Yes.
boots too. So
Absolutely. I there's only a few places that I don't like to wear them, and that is for number one in the cemetery. They keep that's okay up there. I mean, you can pretty well see what you look through. The brush is not real high up there, so well, I haven't seen it lately. Tex, what does it look like?
What?
The brush up in the cemetery.
Oh, you'd have to bushwhack your way through there right now because it gets grown over, you know.
Yeah.
So we were up there in the fall, so
yeah,
you know, it's not too bad. But you go up there during the spring, or you know, or God forbid you go up there in the summer. Ugh. But it gets very, very overgrown. It's easy to lose your way at night up there in the cemetery when you're walking around. Mm-hmm. If you get in the back there where all those hidden grave sites are and everything, where that little girl's buried and everything, you get back in there. If you go any further, it's real easy to get turned around during the fall, much less you get back there during the spring. You know, that one live that I was doing, and I believe Rob and Krista, I think, were running it. I'm not sure. Where I heard that thing come up behind me. Mm-hmm. You know, I believe that was. I believe that took place during the spring. I'm not sure.
Cool.
But one of the biggest things I have to look out for down there, and it never fails. If I go down there during the spring or the summer, I come back with a batch, and that's poison ivy.
What about ticks?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hate them things, man. I don't even.
This is not
ticks.
This is
roughing it. Wear a pair of pantyhose.
Yeah, this is roughing it. Absolutely. Because there are no facilities out there. There's
no running water.
Nothing.
Yeah. Wow.
Now you could drive. I mean, if you and we do this every once in a while. If we got to take a serious poop break, we all load up in the truck and we drive up to the gas station up about 4 miles away. And we occupy the stall.
We do, everyone. We do. We don't leave that in the woods. We don't want to, because we don't want to take anything back home with us, such as poison ivy or anything else.
Although, with recent purchases over the last couple of trips, anyway, that is no longer a necessity. Because we now have, if Monica goes, we have, and if Monica, me, and Ranger go, we have 3 camp toilets. So at our disposal.
3 camp toilets. One for you, and one for you, and none for you.
So mine does not come with the little enclosures. Theirs does. I'm just saying. I usually put mine in front of my truck. If you happen to walk around in front of my truck to see me taking a squat, sit down. We'll have a conversation. If you don't mind the smell, I don't mind.
Or you could just do like me. Like I go behind the tent and I just pee everywhere I go. Brandy can tell you. I literally, I know I did Bigfoot. I know I did. When we had our Bigfoot encounter, I know he was watching. I know I mooned him.
Either that's what brought him in.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Who knows?
So now these were taken. These 2 pictures were taken in the cemetery, not by me. They were. What in the hell is that just popped down there?
That's me. I was about to suggest. Well, you could always use the crap strap.
Oh,
the
wow,
crap strap.
Oh, that's too funny.
We should get that for Brown Springs. What do you think?
I have never seen that.
You never heard of the crap strap? This thing was on Shark Tank.
I never wanted to see that.
No, me either.
It makes so much sense, though, guys.
The only problem is his pants are up.
Yeah, because
well, they're not going to show you that in the picture. They're just showing you how yeah. That's about as bad as the lady funnel. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's just as bad as the lady funnel.
Right, I'm with you on that.
I'm bringing the crap strap next time I go to Brown Springs. That's all I'm saying.
I cannot remember for the life of me who these pictures came from, but I will say this: he's passed on now. He was one of the OG Bigfooters, and he was like the first one to really put Brown Springs on the map as far as this kind of stuff goes.
Mhm.
And there's a picture of what's supposed to be a Bigfoot, and there's a picture of what could possibly be a dog man or a hellhound in the cemetery up there where me and Brandy had that sighting, and we had that run in, and that all kinds of crazy stuff. But here is the supposed dog man. Okay. It's not a red circle, it's a red square. So,
that makes a difference for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All the difference
It
in the
really
world.
just sticks out at me now with the square and not the circle.
But, and of course this is not my picture. I don't make any claims to it, but, you can find it out there on the internet somewhere. But whatever this thing is, it is, sitting on top of a grave. I know that much.
I guess I don't see what everybody's looking at all.
Well,
I see.
I'm not necessarily a big proponent of this picture. Okay. But it's Brown Springs, and I wanted to do the man an honor and, put his picture up there.
Right.
Now,
Well, the only problem is I wish they would have had the original. That way I would have had the option to zoom
Right.
in.
Yeah, kind of looks like a log.
It-
That's just me.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, it's like we say, if you win in doubt, you got to throw it out. But,
right.
I've seen clearer versions of this picture, and it looks like there's something there. I will say that.
Okay. That would probably be better than if we could see that. Yeah.
Because you can actually see the version of this picture that I saw that was really clear. You could actually see the pointed ears. So I don't know what it is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was physical, because up there in the cemetery there ain't no telling.
Right.
Now this next one I like.
Oh yeah. See something
That is the back of the cemetery. Looking back, Brandy, where we had our sighting.
Yeah.
Right behind that barbed wire fence. And it looks to be a possible Sasquatch that's laying down on his belly. We've known him to belly crawl.
Mm-hmm.
His head is about the third strand up on a 5-strand barbed wire fence when he's laying down. So you're talking that something that's on his elbow raised up, and the top of his head looks like it's about 3 feet.
I must tell you, I'll just tell you my initial, when I just seen that for like the first half second in my mind, I seen the image of a Wolfman picture.
Yeah, well, possibly.
I mean, I'm not suggesting it is. It's just what
Right.
popped in my brain automatically. The flat faced wolf looking creature. That's just me.
Yeah, it does kind of have the whole Lon Chaney thing going. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. You almost see like a nose and a mouth and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, with the things we've heard out there, I mean, is it possible? Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's almost creepy.
Yeah. I mean, it could be misidentification. They could be saying it's Bigfoot, but it could be something else. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's big, whatever it is. Anything that's sitting up on one elbow and its head is sitting 3 feet high, that's pretty good size.
Yeah. Wow. That's a really cool picture, though.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
It is really cool.
Let me see if I can. Let me jump over here real quick to my page. See if I've got these pictures. Where'd those pictures
Now we have
go?
a different background.
We do.
We're just switching it all up, man, tonight.
I know.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Everybody's like, wait a minute. Well, I thought we were watching the Blondes.
Well, we actually weren't.
We were supposed to be on a whole different thing. It was supposed to be the paranormal show and tell.
There's that clear version of that picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it looks better.
It
Definitely
looks
looks better.
I definitely see 2 pointed ears of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look a little bit different like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So would that be a baby or is that like far away? Because I'm trying to extrapolate the size of the image compared to the background. You know what I mean?
That's a pretty good distance away. And like I said, it's on top of a gravestone. So I don't know. I don't think it's overly huge.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing about it is and I can't find those damn pictures for some reason, but we've seen them before. Those pictures of that Amy and Laney from Conversations with the Curious caught on their video. And we talked about them several times. I mean, there's something manifesting out of that tree, turning around and walking off. It looks like a damn Jawa.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have that? And let us all analyze that again, because that is such a cool video that when you play.
Oh shit!
What'd you hit?
All I did was change brands.
Knocked us all out. Hey, look at there. Now we're on the right one. Paranormal show and tell.
Wow.
Oh,
we made it. Say,
we made it, guys.
Yay.
We took a scenic route, but we're here.
He's going to have to play our intro as an extra. That's okay.
Yeah, right.
But do you still have that video perhaps? Because, like I said, I missed it when you first played it through at normal time. And I missed it. But this is something really, really wild that I couldn't get it. I couldn't explain it away.
Let me see if I can find it.
Right.
So while Tex is looking, if it's showing in chat that we have 76 people watching, however, back on the back end, we actually have 198 people watching. If everybody would hit the thumbs up, we'd appreciate it. There you go.
Hit the thumbs up, like, leave a comment.
Yeah, and subscribe if you have it.
That's right.
If you haven't,
leave
a comment after.
Yes.
But hit that like button. Show us some love. Hit the heart at the bottom.
Yeah, a whole bunch of times. Hey, Two Shadows.
Two Shadows.
Well, welcome to Two Shadows. Woo!
Yes.
The Booze Club. Welcome.
Yay. Cool beans. Well, I actually, while Tex is looking, I went today to downtown St. Charles and walked Main Street, and it's a very haunted down there. And I did shoot a video that I'm going to be putting up for members only. So,
okay. So there you go, Two Shadows.
Yep.
Brand new video, day one.
The new members only for Two Shadows. Awesome.
Thank you for the hearts, you guys. I see them.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
We definitely appreciate them. Hello, Foster.
Oh, and also, guys, later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, I guess, 9 p.m. your time, there's a special bonus episode of Donnie Cho Says Stuff premiering tonight after the show.
And what's it about?
It's going to be me and Jason and I, talking about direwolves.
Yes. We're barebacking. Yes.
Okay.
That'd be a good one.
I'm glad y'all are talking about something nobody else is talking about.
Now, so are you carrying on the conversation we had about dire wolves, or is this going a whole different direction?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both.
Thumbnail.
Yeah. Cool. Jason is indeed barebacking a wolf. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So real quick, Tex, while you're looking through your stuff here, Dorothy Metcalf asked, Tex, how tall is the headstone that it was behind?
I believe that one's laying on the ground. So
the headstone?
Oh, the headstone's on the ground. Flat.
So all you're seeing right there is the critter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's sitting on top of it.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah. So okay.
I know Tex is going to have to sift through that because we talked about that months ago. But it was a fantastic video, and I'm like, We had to talk about it, slow it down, move it around. I mean, we really looked at it and still couldn't explain it. So it was very, very strange.
So while Tex is still looking, what about like orbs and stuff? What kind of stuff have you guys seen down there?
Brandy?
Well, we've talked about this several times. We talk about the orb that couldn't be seen by the naked eye, but it was picked up on thermal.
Oh.
And it had a distinct heat signature. And it didn't stay just circular. It kind of moved around like a lava bubble would in a lamp, you know, and it kind of moved like that a little bit. And it was very,
what color
I would say it was very intellectual, due to the fact is that Tex would walk, it would move around him, you know, it would stay a certain distance from him, but it would follow him around, but it wouldn't land on him, and this thing wouldn't let it touch it. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like, it was like two, like, kind of magnets, but they were reversed. So they were kind of pushing each other apart, but they didn't go very far. They were kind of like here, and they'd go here, and they stayed this certain distance apart. And we did a whole lot of looking around to see what animals would look like through this lens and all this other kind of stuff, because the heat signature was in black and white, and extreme heat, such as humans, animals, things like that, would show up in black. This thing showed up in black. Wow. But once you put down the monocle, once you put it down, you know, you couldn't see it.
No, you couldn't.
You couldn't see it. So
fact,
I found that very strange, because normally we're used to the ones that put off their own light source, not their own heat source. But this one actually had a heat source. So we were very excited to catch that, and we still do have that too.
Which begs the question, how many of these things are we running into that we have no idea that they're there?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I got to thinking about that, and then where this thing was on, you know, right around you, where it was kind of floating right there around you, is kind of like when the same night that Nick said, "Hey, who pulled my shirt?"
Yeah, it was right. I mean, it was right. I mean,
right in that area.
Well, it was the same place. I mean, because we were standing there.
Right. And he literally thought that
happened, and then we saw. I believe that happened, and then we saw the orb, or whatever you want to call it.
Right. Because I mean, he was looking at Holly, which that was her first Bigfoot experience.
Right.
God bless her.
Poor Holly.
He thought that her or myself, because there's only four of us, had lifted his shirt, and he was kind of concerned because he had his gun in his holster,
right?
You know,
and it was right there by his holster
yes,
sure,
right there by the holster, and something lifted his shirt.
Wow.
So I mean, that brought you to a point of I couldn't touch him, and she was in front of him, so she couldn't touch behind him without him seeing her. Wow. So I wasn't close enough. And I'm like, I didn't touch you.
And I ain't going to touch him. That'd be inappropriate. I don't do anything inappropriate. So, yeah.
Well, Tex, I think that's when you were off playing in the brush with that orb.
So JD Smooth asked, what color was it?
See, that's just it. We couldn't see the color. Because it was we could only see it with the thermal, and it was showing up as hot, which is black.
And thermal is always hot. All images.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and it was black, pure black, just like if you or I would show up in front of it, we're going to be pitch black because we're putting off such a heat source that it's going to be black. Yeah. Rabbits put it off, you know, bears put it off, deer put it off, but it puts it off in the shape of the animal. So you can definitely see what animal you're looking at. You know what I mean? You know, you can see that it's a rabbit, a deer, whatever. But this thing was just like a bubble in a lava lamp. And it just kept kind of changing a little bit and moving a little bit.
And you know,
Yeah.
if you remember right, Brandy, when we were at the OBL and you know, the first time we saw those orbs with all of us there, it was they were kind of similar because I really wonder the ones we saw, but I wonder how many was around that we didn't see. You know, nobody had thermal that night that, you know, we were all there. So I think Brown Springs and the LBL like have a lot of likeness.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Yes. But I mean, but think about this. We're always looking for orbs that are bright and light.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Now this whole episode has now made me think of like, oh, we've got other things floating around we can't see. I mean, but it's normal for us as being first into the paranormal. It's normal for us to understand that, you know, that things may be around, you can't see them, but we know they're there. But I never thought orbs. I never thought orbs. I thought orbs would always have a light source. No.
Right.
No.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, and you know, honestly, that could, I mean, because I don't think they're all, maybe they don't all register as hot. Maybe some of them register as cold, and that would explain some of the cold spots that we can't, but we walk through, or they move through.
Possibly.
Yeah,
Well,
you know,
I mean, that's a good point.
you can't assume that all orbs are going to register hot. When
Right.
We really don't know what they are, right?
With,
Technically.
but them registering as a heat source makes sense if they're putting off energy, light, energy, heat, energy. You know, that all equates. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Thank you, Tennessee Ridge Runner. We appreciate
Thank you
that.
so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, because you know, and I've had that before happen where, you know, you always, when you think of the paranormal, you think of ghosts, you think of cold spots.
Right.
But I've had spots that were actually heated, hot.
Right.
They weren't cold.
Yeah. That's
So
interesting.
that does make sense. That does make sense. Matter of fact, it was where I figured that out, Krista, was at Tri-County Truck Stop. And we were up in the very upstairs area that they have.
The rooms used to be, yeah.
Right. And it was blazing hot outside and it was dark. It was blazing. And I actually felt hotter on one side of my body. And they used a thermal and it was hotter on one side of my body and not the other. And there was no call for it. It was pitch black outside. It was dark. So the sun wasn't shining, so that couldn't explain it. I was indoors. This place has no electricity, no heat, no air, no nothing. So there was no explanation why one side of my body would have been hotter than the other. My other was at normal body temp. The other one was way hot.
You know, really quickly, since we're on this subject briefly before we move on, Texas still sifting through, I imagine. I had a question. Somebody had left me a comment some time ago that I didn't know how to answer. They wanted like the book definition or the technical answer when it came to, you know, looking through the infrared or whatever, or the thermals. Of course, the blackness shows the heat of something alive, something living, or whatever that gives off heat. Whether it's a animal, cryptid, or ghost.
Yes.
But then they asked, what's the red and green and yellow colors throughout?
That is still thermal.
Is that just breaking off the environment? And that's nothing though that's giving off heat. It's not a strong heat signature.
No, the black that we're talking about is that the thermal that we were using is black and white thermal.
Yes.
So your heat will start off as in black, and then as it gets cooler, it'll be lighter shades of gray.
Got you.
You know, so to go under that. If you're dealing with color, that is just another form of thermal that's in colors. So you can, you know, your reds are going to be where it's hot, your blues are going to be where it's cold, and then you have your colors in between. So that's just how to gauge where exactly you're at in the thermal. I mean, they both do the same thing. Some prefer, like I said, the black and white. Some prefer the color. I prefer, I don't know. I when I'm indoors and I'm investigating buildings, I prefer the color because sometimes they may produce a signature for me in, say, a shape of a body, to where the black and white one may not.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's where I like to use the color, because then it'll give you a better outline, to where the one that's to me is the black and white one is best used for animals and things like that, I find, because then you can see the animals better.
Right.
Because everybody who used the color they kind of get kind of blobby, but you can see the body shape.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. I cannot find that video.
No.
But I do have the stills from the video.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, okay. That's okay. I mean, heck, we analyze these things all the time. But I mean, man, that video was something else, though. To see how quickly it moved.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's get you off of here.
Yeah, that's just creepy. I'm just saying.
Yes,
The face and all, man.
You know,
That is creepy.
I do like that, and I
So
I
here's
like
a
that
question.
picture, though.
Here's a question really quick. Question for the booze. Do any of you develop hot spots in your joints with paranormal activity? I personally haven't noticed anything like that.
You know,
No?
when I did, when we were up in Brown Springs Cemetery, and we were, it was, I had the girls, I had Amy and Laney with me, and Pops and Junior were there. It was that real active night where we had all kinds of crazy stuff happen. And when we first started, we broke into teams, and me and the girls walked off. My shoulders and my arms got hot and flushed and felt light, or well, felt like it's weird. Okay, when you do a heavy arm workout and your arms are, feeling that kind of weird, that's what it felt like. And I was like, and I'd never experienced that before, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And they said it could possibly be something trying to attach itself to me,
It could be.
I don't know, but yeah.
It could be. I haven't had like hot spots or like in my joints or anything.
Right.
However, that where Brandy was talking Tri-County Truck Stop earlier, several times I have been there and I have gotten chest pains.
Yeah.
And
then I guess Tri-County Truck Stop, I guess there is minus the back pain, lower back pain. Like you'll just sit there and it just all of a sudden feels like you gained like 50 years on your body, is what it feels like to me. And then it's like you get all achy and stuff. But I've never used a thermal to see if there were any hot spots. I guess I never have.
Yeah.
Krista, I guess we never really thought about that. Maybe we should. I mean, because we can talk about the physical ailments that we're feeling, and they are an experience. I mean, that is 100% evidence. It's validated. It's an experience, but I've never checked it with thermal. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
And when we talk about the thermal and stuff, and something else that we have gotten up there in Brown Springs Cemetery is radioactive spikes, radiation spikes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary.
Damn. Yeah.
What was really strange about it, it was like a 2x2 area over a gravestone. And it was only at night, which is odd.
Not during the day.
Yeah.
Good night.
And it was the reading was somewhere between a microwave and a chest x-ray. So, but yeah, it'd be there and then it would be gone, So, we've also picked up, cause we take a spectrometer with us, a lot of times, and we'll be picking up infrasound and ultrasound at the same time, all over the place. Not just any one place. And I don't think it's these critters, I don't think it's them all the time. I think a lot of what we experience out there, because I think if we do this long enough, you start to get yourself back in tune with our older abilities. Okay. That, I think we start to sharpen those senses that we lost many, many years ago. And because of all the technology and stuff that we have, we don't have to rely on our senses as much, right?
Right.
So I think maybe that's what we may be dealing with every time somebody gets and EMS spikes also will do the same thing. It's the same symptoms as, the infrasound and stuff. But I think we need to watch ourselves from jumping right to, I got zapped by a critter. Okay.
Yes.
Great.
I think that sometimes it is the earth will generate these vibrations, these ultrasounds and infrasounds and EMF, So we really need to do our due diligence and go, okay, maybe it wasn't, Bigfoot zapping me or whatever. And trying to take other readings and do our due diligence to see if it sticks around, if it's there all the time, and it just happens to hit that certain vibration and affects us, and not every vibration will affect the same person in the same way. You may have a group of people and only maybe one or two of them get affected.
Well, look what happened to Rob. Look what happened to Rob and his girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
That was
look at the story that Greg shares. Greg Ogles, he talks about that one instance where they encountered the portal, and like two of the people went in, and then both of those people wound up dying from cancer.
Yeah.
Well,
I've heard other instances where people talk about how some of these entities can straight up just give you like cancer.
Well, not only
like,
that, almost every member of that team has some kind of cancer.
Yep, they do.
That's wild.
And also
some have already passed away. Some have already passed.
And even if you look back, which I found to be fascinating, well, in a sense, a lot of these old time researchers, when I say old time, I don't mean old guys or women. There's been a lot of researchers in the Bigfoot field that have passed away at a relatively young age as well.
Yep.
True.
The ones that have come across encounters, experiences, got hit with infrasound or what have you, or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And I don't think maybe this infrasound affects everybody the same. I mean, everybody talks about this zapped.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not zapped. Maybe you feel a little something else.
Right.
Maybe it doesn't, maybe it affects you differently.
Yep.
Such as maybe it gives you a headache instead of, or makes you tired, or, maybe it'll do other things too, because we are all, honestly, we all vibrate on a different frequency. Maybe if it's off just a little bit, it's all different. So maybe it'll affect you differently. I've always wondered about, when people talk about zapped, but what does zapped mean to you? I mean, it could mean something totally different to me. I have people elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah.
Because tell me how it made you feel.
Yeah, because for the most part, when people talk about being zapped, they're talking about Bigfoot zapping them with infrasound.
Yeah.
Which was made very popular by Kumbo Baker. Now, and supposedly he did some studies, or he was involved in some studies with the harmonics and the infrasound and everything. And I don't, I've never talked to the man. I'd love to. But I can't say I never talked to him. I had about a 5-minute conversation with him, but
sounds like it ended well.
Well, I mean, it didn't end bad. It's just,
5 minutes.
Yeah, when you meet people like that, you probably only have 5 minutes, and you're lucky to get that.
Well, no, I'm not going to get into it. But never mind. It wasn't because of him. It was because of another individual that didn't want me pouring it in on.
Gotcha.
But anyway, I do know that when you're talking, like Brandy, when you're talking about it affects us differently and stuff. That's when you start talking about harmonics, because when vibrations have to line up, right?
Okay.
And when you hit that sweet spot, I'll call it, that's when you get affected. And it can be different from everybody. And not only that, not everybody, it can be different for you at different times, because the mood you're in, your blood pressure, your sugar, levels, anything can affect it. Okay. maybe you're feeling a little bit off that day, and it affects you easier. Maybe maybe you're feeling great
I can
that
see
day.
that being the
Like
case.
when I got supposedly zapped when I was up in the cemetery, I felt fine. I was on point. There was 4 of us. We're walking single file, and all of a sudden it hit me just like that, and I broke out in a cold sweat. And I broke out in a cold sweat. I got dizzy. I thought I was going to faint. All the color drained out of my face. It lasted for 5 to 6 minutes, something like that. And I felt better afterward. It was gone as quick as it came. And I felt better after that than I did before. It was weird.
And that's where I think like different people, because somebody, our Boondock here says about radiation poisoning, talking about Martin Groves. I know Martin Groves has been zapped. And it's taken, you recovered quickly from yours, but I know his was like really bad. It took him a long time to come out of that. So
I've talked to people that's been down for a month and ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
So I mean, it can really knock you in the dirt. So I've got those images, those stills from that video. Okay.
Okay.
So
real quick, I got one question about being zapped. So do you think, just for say, like we always talk about, you put out, your mind is a powerful thing. What about like if you go out in the woods and you put like this shield, this block around you, like, that in your mind you're saying I'm protecting myself from being zapped.
Right.
How do you think that would work? Because like the mind is a powerful thing. Like, when you go, a lot of people, when they white light themselves to go into ghost investigations, it's all meditation. It's all in the mind. So how do you guys think that would work out in the woods doing something like that?
I don't think there's any difference in what you just called white lighting and meditation and protection. I think it's all the same. I think it's mentally and emotionally charging yourself or, grounding yourself. A lot of people, they'll take Brandy's a big proponent of this. She'll walk outside. She needs to be grounded, take her shoes off and go, play in the grass. But, and I've got to where, I go barefoot a lot because I found that I feel better. Right. So it's like when I go out in the yard and do stuff, I if I'm not doing something I need shoes for, I'm shoeless. And so I think all of that is a form of the same thing. If you want to call it protection, you want to call it meditation, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I think it will sometimes adversely affect what you're trying to accomplish out in the field. Because if you block yourself off to some stuff, you're not going to have these experiences that you might have. But it's up to the individual whether you want to take the chance on possibly something getting its foot in the door that you don't want in your door. So there's a give and take there. But I think absolutely it affects, what happens to you, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you have to decide for yourself, like Tech said, if you want, you want to experience these things.
Right.
But how big of a hit are you willing to take?
Absolutely.
Is what it all comes down to. So, like I said, Krista and I talk about it all the time, like going investigating, for spirits and things like that. Hey, if you don't feel good, that's not a good time to do it. I don't care how much you meditate, how many crystals you got on, what you cover yourself in. If you don't feel good, your body is not going to keep up with the armor.
Right.
I think
it's not going to keep up.
You guys make great points. I think personally, this is just me. I don't think it matters if you protect yourself sometimes. Maybe in some cases it does, but you're not guaranteed. First of all, I wouldn't want to be so protected like Jason McLean where he scares away ghosts.
He repels. He's the repellent.
Yes, I definitely would not want to be him. I'd want to have a
he's got too much of that Jesus sauce all over him.
I would want to, I'd want a happy medium. But I do think, though, there's a part of me that thinks it doesn't matter what you do. Because I think in some instances, it's what you fully believe. You can protect yourself all you want. it might not make a difference in the world. I think it depends on maybe your mood, your belief system. So I don't think it's a foolproof system. I personally would just give me a little bit of magic when I walk out in the woods or whatever, you know.
Give me a little
Give me a
sprinkle.
little dusting because I don't want to miss out on the good stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think it's all about the attitude, the energy, like you already talked about, the vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Because you
It
can
is.
go in saying the Our Father, the Blessed Jesus, Blessed Mary, and you could still come across something you don't want to see.
Yeah, it is. Because it's all an intent, and we all know that. It's all an intent. If you don't believe what you're saying, it ain't going to work. But, okay, so let me ask you this, Rob. This is a good question. So when that happened to you,
yes,
in your encounter,
yeah,
do you think that any type of, I don't know, prayer or anything would have helped you in that situation, or would you just just like it happened, been taken back so much and so fast and shocked that it wouldn't have mattered what you would have done at that point?
Back in 2018, if I can be candid, I really didn't believe. I wasn't spiritual. I didn't pray to God. Okay, I'll say this. I wasn't a God-fearing man.
Okay.
Wouldn't have mattered to me. I don't think it would have helped.
Right.
You know, so regardless, now that's why I have that hard time saying, you know, if I was out praying or just not praying you guys. I'm not, you know, we're not getting all on your knees gospel stuff. But yeah, if I said a little prayer for him on the lake and I was into it the way I am today, mind you, maybe. But then again, I don't think what I saw today was evil. In 2018, I thought it was evil. Today, I'm completely different in my approach, in my belief today.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. But do you think that even if you did pray, what if you did pray? Do you think that in that instance it would have helped?
No.
Because it was a physical creature at that point.
I think it was meant to be. You know, I think that was something that even prayer, if God above wants you to experience something, he's going to let you have it, I think.
He's going to hit you where it hurts.
He's going to hit you, in a good way.
Really?
And I'm glad I seen what I seen today, because what I do today is I love, right?
Right.
Had I not had that experience, of course, Cindy died, yeah. However, bittersweet, right?
Yeah.
Bittersweet. Because had that encounter not happened, I wouldn't be met you guys and experienced all the things that have been given back to me. So I'm grateful.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
True. That's true.
Yeah.
Hey guys, real quick, we got some folks that are dealing with some hard stuff, some pretty rough stuff. I just want to give them a shout out. Lolo, Eric C, and
I seen little Patty commented something too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Talk about prayers. We're going to hold you in our prayers, guys. I mean, and
absolutely
appreciate it if everybody else did too. Just hang in there, guys. I know it's tough. Now, I want to bring these photos up. Now, what I'm going to set this up because Amy and Laney were up there, and they were up there in the cemetery, and it was during the day, and they were filming. They really had no idea what all they could have gotten into while they were up there. And when they asked me, after we met and I found out they'd went up there by themselves, and I'm like, don't do that. You know, if you want to go, I'll take you, but please do not go up there by yourselves. Because one of the things that they experienced, not just because of what they caught, one of the things that they experienced up there, they heard puppies whining. And it was like they kind of felt the urge to go find these puppies, right? No,
Lord, yeah, they were being lured.
Do not, and they had the wherewithal not to go look for these puppies. In fact, it kind of set off a red flag, and they're like, no.
Well, it goes to the same thing where you hear of people hearing babies crying in the woods.
Absolutely.
You know, same thing. You don't go looking. Sorry, there's no babies in the woods.
That's not a baby. That's something bad.
Yeah.
No puppies in the woods.
Yeah. And I think a lot of what we deal with, you know, after having extensive conversations with Monica, especially, and Jason as well, I think a lot of what we are dealing with out there is what we used to call back in the day is the Fae.
Could be.
Because if you look at a lot of these descriptions of these things that people are seeing, and then you look at what people called the Fae and the descriptions of the beings that were, you know, under that umbrella, man, a lot of it just lines right up. So I think that stuff's still out there. I don't think it ever left, you know. And that, hell, there was like, God, I think there was 9 to 15 of us or something like that around camp one night when we heard the lady laughing in the woods. You know, on one side of camp, and then like 2 minutes later on the other side of camp. There's no possible way that you know, somebody could have navigated that through that brush to get, and not us hearing it or seeing them, to get around the other side of the camp. You know, we saw no cars, and down there you can see, whenever you can hear a car, you can see a car. You know, so there was nobody there. You know, there was a lot of people that witnessed that. But anyway, so they're up there and they're filming, and they didn't notice this when they were filming. And what happened was they sent the thing because they kind of, when they reviewed the tape, they kind of saw this and they were like, "Can you look at this?" And I reviewed it and I'm like, "Yeah, this is crazy." You know, this thing looks like it materializes out of a tree, out of a black blob, takes shape and turns around and walks off. It was only about 4 feet tall. So here's an early. Okay, it don't look like much. It's just a blurry. You know, the camera's trying to focus. You're moving the camera. Okay, it could be written off as many things, right? But here's the next frame. I don't know. I mean,
no idea.
It looks like a hooded figure with a little bit of a tail maybe on the ass end of it. I don't know. I call it a Java. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because when you watch the video, and we'll have to find that for you, honest.
Yeah.
We really need to find that. It just looks kind of like a black spot, just this little spot on a tree, and then it morphs, which is very odd.
Yeah.
And then walks off.
What I always go by my very first 2 seconds when I see something. I immediately saw a dude in a hoodie with 2 legs kind of walking, you know. It looks like a dude with a hoodie hat with a little point on top. I can see his shoulders, and he's got like a jacket on with shorts, and I see his legs. That's what I see. Now, whatever it is, I don't know.
And see, I don't, and I know some people down at the bottom, from just right under what looks like maybe a tail, say that, oh, you can see his legs. I don't know that that's possible. That's possible.
And again, that's my first 2 seconds of what my mind told me. That's it.
Well, you're not
now,
the
if
first
I study it. Yeah, if I study it, who knows what I'll come up with.
Well, and you're not the first one to see it that way. But and I'm not saying that's not possible, because there's been a lot of deaths out there. I mean, I don't know if this could have been a spirit. Absolutely, but I have no idea what it is. But it's something that materializes out of the tree, turns around and walks off. I do know that.
Yeah,
I really want to see the video.
Yeah, the video is awesome, because we had to look at it and look at it and look at it. But there is a cult activity. I have to remind everybody about that. There is a cult activity out at Brown Springs, so you may be dealing with more than what you bargained for.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
And this thing is not very big, but when you're seeing the video and you run across it, it just looks like a black spot on a tree. So you're thinking, oh, it's discolored bark or whatever. And then it turns into something else and moves.
Huh. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's a lot of unanswered questions on that one for sure, but it's something.
Yeah.
It's something.
It's something because it moved.
Because we tried to explain it away of maybe it's the shifting of the shadows and the movement of the camera, but it's not. That thing, whatever it is, moves. You know,
Yes, it moves.
So I don't know, but
even though you can say it's the way the shadows change, but she didn't move. So
right. Well, she was panning the camera. She was just panning the camera, but the thing about it is, the dark spot is not going to appear in front of a tree or out of a tree, whatever the case may be,
and move,
and then move away from it. I mean, I don't care how much you're moving the camera, the subject's not going to move away from where it was, and that's what happens.
Right. So it is a very strange thing.
Right. Yep. Now, Pops, Gary Spike Sr. Asked if that was the tree by where we found those 14-inch tracks on the dirt mound. And what he's talking about, folks, is something else that I was going to bring up.
Oh, well, bring it up. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so we had that night that I got that I had that heavy feeling, and we caught the 3 words and which were Solo Beast, Grace on the ghost box thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pops and Junior, we're seeing these cat-like entities up in the trees. They came down out of the trees, got up on 2 legs, go back down on all 4s. But when they hit them with a light, they disappeared. Mm-hmm. And they turned the light off, and they would be right back where they were.
Wow.
Okay. And this was all happening. We were separated by about 20 yards, maybe. And this was all happening simultaneously. All of it. And the reason the 3 words are important or relevant, because Amy's husband was parked down at the bottom of the cemetery, about 100 yards away. And he was parked down there in their truck next to my truck. Somebody by himself, okay, they're solo, okay. Some Junior earlier in the night back at camp, when he met Cody, and Cody's big. Cody makes me look tiny. He is a huge man, and he's a beast. Okay, so and then the coup de grace, the kicker, was Grace. Mm-hmm. That's the name of my truck. Anybody that knows me, that's went out in the field with me or went to a conference with me or whatever, I talk to my truck. Her name is Grace. And she's named after Grace Budd, which was a serial killer's final victim that I believe reached out beyond the grave and got his ass caught. But so those 3 words came across. I get that heavy feeling thing. And then I had a headlamp on, and Amy had a big old 6x9 LED light that you could dial the intensity up and down. We're sitting there and we're talking, and my headlamp and her light goes off at the same instant. We had to physically turn them back on. And when she turned her light back on, the intensity level dial thing was reversed.
Wow.
So there was some jacked up stuff going on. So we and then after all that, we decided, okay, we're going to head, come back together. We're going to head back down. Then we start hearing something stalking us around the outside of the cemetery on the back side back there. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, we need to go. Well, Pops was the only one packing at that point. He was the only one carrying a weapon. And so we start back down the trail, and Junior spots this mound of sand that is setting off the trail over off the side. And I don't know what drew him to it. I really don't. He says, "Hey, I want to go over here and check this out real quick." So he goes over there, and we walk over there, and what we find are two 14-inch hoof prints. Okay, you're talking something that's that big. Okay, bipedal hoof prints. What in the hell made that? That's buried in the damn Clydesdale.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, I don't think. Well, I don't know. I guess a Belgian or a Clydesdale would have a hoof about that.
Yeah, they're pretty good size.
Yeah, but I mean, there's none of that there. You know, much less it's going to be traipsing through the middle of the damn brush. You know.
Wow.
And you're going to find, and you would see if a Clydesdale or a Belgian horse went up that damn trail, you're going to see it. You know, it's going to mark up a soft sandy trail when they're climbing a hill. It's just going to happen, right? But yeah, so we don't know what that is. There's a picture that was caught by an individual that he sent it to me, just showing me how grown up the place was. And I looked at it and I said, and I texted him back. I said, "What about that big son of a bitch back there in them trees?" And the next words I got back from him was, "Oh shit." Well, it looks like something standing there. It looks like Andre the Giant standing back there in the trees. And we went out and we tried to recreate the photo. We took measurements. If he was standing on the log back there, he was 12 feet tall. If he wasn't, he was 14. And this thing is freaking massive, but it's just a dark shadow. Is that what we found, a footprint? I don't know. But we do know that because we've talked to psychics, we've talked to historians, and they all gave us the same story, that there was some kind of, and they didn't really describe it except for this. There was some huge dark presence that is either controlling that area of the cemetery or guarding it. Those are the two stories we got. Okay. So, and they didn't know we were talking to any of them. I mean, these were separate contacts. And I really think that's when does it quit being a coincidence?
I don't believe in coincidence.
Exactly. So there's something up there, you know, and I don't know what it is. I've been told that it is supposedly the spirit of the guy that owned the place, that owned over 100 slaves. He, according to what I hear, he was not a nice person, you know, and he tends to try to trap souls up there.
Geez.
I don't know. You know, I mean, it's very possible. So, but yeah.
Interesting.
That is strange.
Yeah, like I said, and Brandy knows it, and there's a lot of stuff going on up there, you know, a lot. And you don't ever know what you're going to run into. Hell, we started camping, you know, that 3 or 4 miles away down there just to if we could get out of that paranormal bubble, you know, and start dealing with some physical stuff, you know. And we haven't ran into as much as or as an intense experience as far as the paranormal goes down there. Okay. I think we're dealing with a lot more physical stuff down there, which is good. It's what we wanted, but still not out of the woods per se.
Hey, you guys, let me ask you guys this. We all know about like Bigfoot. Well, not that we know, but we've heard and figured out that Bigfoot loves to travel waterways, river streams, anything, you know, railroad tracks, power lines, so on and so forth. So you think, though, with Brown Springs, that you've got the cemetery, the woods, the Red River, and then the water flowing underneath the cemetery? I've heard, and maybe the girls know better than I, isn't water, though, also a conductor for the paranormal as well?
Yes.
Running water, especially. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get that running water under a cemetery, to say the least, right? So don't you think these things are all kind of meshing together? I think over there. That's my guess, perhaps.
Well, not only that, you've got. I mean, it's the Red River because of the the iron that's in the soil. So you got all that, and not to mention you got the dark history of all the Indian fights and everything that happened there at the border. You've got the Dixie Mafia used it for a body dump for a long time. There's been serial killer activity there. There's been occult activity. We found remnants of some occult activity. We went up there that one time when we found out about the whole tigers, and that's a whole different ballgame. But when the reason we got confronted by the 5 cops is they were out there looking for somebody sacrificing chickens.
Right.
A coven of whatever, sacrificing chickens.
I do have to ask this because Donnie's being awfully quiet. I've got 2 questions for Donnie, but I'm going to ask the first one. Donnie, we didn't do meme of the week. Did you happen to have a meme of the week?
I have a meme of the week, but Tex keeps switching the brand, so I can't upload it. I can upload it now.
Hang on.
Oh, no.
You can go back to whatever. There we go.
We don't have
there
to
you go. How about that one?
Okay. Okay, now let me upload it. Hold on, guys.
Okay. But my next question after the meme, and you can think about this too. You went to Brown Springs with Jason.
Me? Yes, I did.
Now, did you happen to feel anything weird or like something maybe spying on you, or was it just like a walk in the woods?
It was mostly like a walk in the woods. Well, you know what it was though, because Jason and I were so focused at the time on filming stuff. Like it was just go from this spot to the next spot, and I would we'd bust our phones out, and then we'd start filming for the podcast. We were like making content the whole time, so we had I feel like I barely even like just stopped and like looked around. Really, like when we went to the graveyard, I had my camera rolling the whole time. I was launching into a bit. It was like a podcast, so I didn't get the exploratory feel of the place,
Right.
Also, I was there in the middle of the day.
Well, and then you were with Jason.
Yeah, in the summertime. And by the way, Tex is not kidding when he says going there in the summer is no joke. Holy crap, that was hot as hell.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I was like, oh my God, Texas summers are no joke.
Yeah, they're brutal.
Yeah, that was brutal. Anyway,
Yeah.
Shall I play? Here we go. Let me find it. Okay.
Okay. Donnie Cho, meme of the week.
Okay. My meme of the week was one that I did a while back that I liked a lot, but here it is. The photo we've all been waiting for, and it's a picture of a bear pooping in the woods, because no one's ever seen a bear pooping in the woods. It's a photo we've all been waiting all our lives to see. And then Bigfoot, looking all envious and jealous, is like walking away, pouting, being like, man, way to steal my thunder, dick.
That's awesome.
Doesn't Bigfoot look so perturbed there?
Yeah. And that totally answers the question, does a bear shit in the woods?
That bear totally stole Bigfoot's glory, man.
Yep.
Totally stole Bigfoot's glory.
Absolutely did.
Because that's the most important picture, and right below that's the second most important picture, the Patterson Gimlin picture. So we
answered
caught
all
it.
the questions.
It's been done, folks. We finally did it. We caught a bear shitting
2
in the
mysteries
woods.
busted right there.
Yes.
There you go.
That's awesome.
I love it. Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Boondock
right,
Mojo says Oklahoma summers are tougher than Texas summers. If that's
It's
really
the same
a bragging
summer.
right you want for Oklahoma, you can have it. Okay,
It's the same summer. You guys. Yes, technically, I felt the heat of.
If you
when
haven't been around Texans and Oklahomans together, you don't know the rivalry. It goes back and back and back years. So
it's much like Michigan, Ohio, probably.
Oh yeah,
Have you ever met a couple that was like one person was from Texas and the other person was from Oklahoma?
Oh, absolutely.
Like a couple. Did it feel like Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, it's funny because you'll see, depending on how they are, how deep they are into like college football.
Yeah,
you'll have like the half and half flags flying and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Well, there's Missouri and Arkansas, so we understand. We understand.
Yeah.
We understand. I'm just saying all the summers in this area suck. I don't care where you're at. Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, doesn't matter. It all sucks.
Yep. Missouri sucks. I mean, even Illinois and Kentucky and Tennessee, they all suck in the summer, man. They're all awful.
They're getting bad.
If you really want the full experience of a Texas summer, and I'll put this against an Oklahoma summer, if you really want to have that argument, you spend your time up in Oklahoma for a summer and then go spend it in Houston. You tell me what's worse.
Houston. You don't even have to tell me.
It's pretty dang hot.
Yeah.
But
if y'all want the bragging rights for a worse summer, then hey, take it. I don't care.
Take it. Take the heat with you too. Just go ahead.
Sharon says, be in Florida in the summer. Yeah, Florida's another miserable.
Yeah, that's miserably.
There's another one.
Yep, sure is.
Louisiana. Yeah.
You got the snakes.
Yeah, like I said, it's all bad. Anyway, but this one went by really fast though. This podcast went by fast. I thought, oh man, with not having a topic today, no topic.
I blame Randy.
I never knew the show existed until today. So thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for being a patron of our show, Robert. Thank you. Thank you for your fandom.
Very nice.
Right?
Yeah,
and thanks, Krista, for coming on.
Yeah,
glowing endorsement.
Krista's here.
Yeah,
Daddy Joe says stuff.
Yeah, you two don't come on our show that much, but I'm glad you guys
you always
here.
have a packed house. We can't be everywhere. I like kicking back and watching. I know this show exists.
Yes.
That's why I was giving him the old evil eye.
That's right.
But yeah,
He's been on a time or two. He's been on a time or two.
I might have been on. I was invited on one other time.
You were invited on last week. You actually showed up in the chat and then you left, and we're like,
"Yeah,
oh, is Rob coming?" And I guess we're like, "Oh, I guess he's not."
I guess he's not.
Guess he's not.
Yeah, that was literally last week, Rob.
Yeah, I can't remember, Donnie.
We had a good show. We had a really good show.
I was totally looking forward to doing an episode with you that day, man. And then I was like, "Oh man, Rob just ghosted us."
Well, it's paranormal show and tell, by the way. Just it's appropriate.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Good call.
So, what do you guys have coming up this week, guys? Like, what's going on with your shows? Like, we might as well plug it before we.
Let's see. Since mine's the next one coming up, that's me and Tex tomorrow.
And what are you guys talking about tomorrow?
Typically, it's me and Tex. Thursday afternoon is not really heavily guest driven like Tuesday. I have one or two a month, but I'm looking forward to this one because I do have a guest on that I never had on before. Texas had him on a handful of times back in the day. Nick Valente will be joining us.
We've got him on too.
Oh, that'd be a great show.
Yeah, we have him on tomorrow at 1:00 in the Eastern Standard Time, 12 in the Central. Me and Tex and Nick Valente.
And then tomorrow,
I like Nick. Yeah. He's always a good conversation.
Yep. And then tomorrow night, Brandy and I, we have Ron Bowles. He is a Bigfoot researcher and done some stuff with the BFRO and stuff. So
very nice.
Mm-hmm. So
and do a little bit more
Bigfooting tomorrow night.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bigfoot.
They're gonna make up our own song.
There you go.
And wait, so what's going on Friday? What are you guys doing Friday?
We don't know. We haven't got that far. This is only Wednesday.
You haven't got that far yet?
Yeah. It's been a very strenuous week for me this week. But if nothing else, it's going to be me and Krista. Of course, work has been nuts and crazy. So if I don't get off right at the right time, then I'm going to be a little late sliding into the show.
Mhm.
So who knows?
Oh, that's right.
Who
I forgot.
knows?
Friday, the Blinds and Booze are Thursday and Friday. Brunch is Thursday. And I have not been plugging this, but I've been rolling my show. I've been doing story time with BMR, rolling into the Blinds and the Booze on Friday. People seem to like that.
So, Brandy, are we doing 7 or 8 o'clock on Friday? Did you decide back or?
You know what? Let's say 8 o'clock. Let's say 8 o'clock, and then we
Central Standard.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
8 o'clock Central Standard Time Friday, because you know what? I'd rather be there than miss some of it. You know what I mean? I'd rather be there the whole time than miss some of it. I always hate coming in late to a show.
By the way, Brandy and Krista, I never got to ask you until now, but would you like to join me on my show this Saturday? I have a special topic.
He does that so we look bad if we say no.
Yeah, he does it.
Right? I'm here.
Will you be free this Saturday, ladies?
I think.
Yeah.
I will not. I will not. My schedule says I have to work till 10 o'clock.
Oh man. Okay, because okay, Krista, so if you'll join us, that'll be cool. So the topic for my show this Saturday, the sexy world of Bigfoot erotica. We're going to be exploring the genre, the literary genre of Bigfoot erotica. It's an actual genre. Like these books, you'd be amazed at how well these books sell.
It is, because we were at some conference and some lady.
Yeah, they were selling it. Yeah.
Yeah. I won't even go.
They make money, guys.
Yes.
I found out how much money some of these books make. We need to have a conversation this Saturday. We need to rethink our strategy here. Because I'm not making any money off of this, and we need to rethink some of this stuff. What are we doing? These books are making, like, if I told you the money some of these books were making, you'd be angry.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We need to have a serious conversation this Saturday.
So who else
I tell you what, I'd
Rob,
hate to...
Monica.
Yeah, I'm coming on.
I especially want Rob to come on because he's a published author.
Yes.
I won't be home in time to watch this, but you got to know that I am most definitely going to have to go back and replay.
I've got things. I've been researching this scene and finding out some serious information, guys. This is going to shock you. We need to have a conversation.
You remember last year, Brandy, last year or the year before at that conference, and the people sat across from us and the books that they wrote? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was trying to tell Tex about that. And I said, I think it was San Antonio. And he said, I think you're right.
No,
were you at least curious of buying one of the books to read it?
It was Gatlinburg.
No.
Was
it Gatlinburg? Well, that makes sense.
And it was Bigfoot porns, what they wrote.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Not porn. Now that you not porn, Krista. Erotica. Bigfoot erotica.
So what we need to do, we need to design a Bigfoot sex doll.
No, I've already started writing my book, guys.
No, a doll.
No, but I've been so inspired by this topic.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Can I go to work with Brandy?
But actually, I do think a Bigfoot erotic doll would be a good idea, Tex. I do have to admit.
Well, I think it would
sell. I think it would sell.
We could use Brandy's only.
There is Brandy Squatch on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Brandy Squatch on OnlyFans. There is that.
Oh, Brandy,
we've already started that. Where you been?
Yeah.
I know your crazy schedule after the Donnie show roll. When you get home, you'll be home in time to come on mine. You're gonna be going to bed.
We'll have to find out. I should be getting home. We'll be late. I'll be about a half hour late, but I should roll in.
Go to bed, but Saturday night's a Saturday night. Tex, I don't know if he's usually later, and Krista, I think, will be there in Monica. So we gotta know.
I will try to roll in if I get out on time.
Donnie picks and chooses when to come on when we have a cool, bizarre news he likes.
No, actually, when I come on, when I hear my name being mentioned, and I'm like, oh, they're talking about me? Oh, I'm coming on.
Okay.
And Monica's got her show tomorrow night.
Yeah. Monica Thursday. Yes, Thursday night.
Yes.
We're just on 7 days a week, everybody. Turn on the alert bells.
Right.
That's the
Yes.
most important thing to do.
Monday,
Yeah.
Monday,
Island of
Brandy,
Misfit Toys. We're on every night of the week. Huh?
The Monday after Easter, next Monday,
Mhm.
me and Brandy are interviewing somebody, and we're interviewing Jason McLean.
No, who's that?
And the topic is
No way.
the topic is the Easter Bunny a cryptid?
Okay.
And he asked me,
That's
I don't
almost
know
like a
what
Donnie
he's got up
Joe
his sleeve. I don't know what he's got up his sleeve, but he asked me, can I piss people off?
No, not
And I'm
Jason.
like, I'm interviewing you. I don't care who you piss off. So
I will slap him. You cannot talk about that. You can't make people mad with the Easter Bunny. I'll slap you. I like the Easter Bunny.
Well, there is
I hope he brings me about 24 eggs
Randy.
this year. I'd appreciate it.
Randy. There is
Right.
the evil side of the Easter Bunny, much like there is Krampus with Santa Claus. There's also a Krampus bunny.
I know, but the Easter Bunny brings me eggs. And because of the inflation and how much eggs cost, I just wanted to bring me about 24.
Easter Bunny is just terrible.
I like him when he brings me deviled eggs.
Yes, already pre-made deviled eggs.
I'm good with the chocolate ones too. I'm just saying the malted
like
ones are
when he-
really.
Yeah.
I like when I get brought carrots.
I think there's a
Carrots, really.
All
Ron?
right, everybody. Y'all are cracking me up. Anyway, with that being said, okay, we need to cut this show. So make sure you tune into everybody's show, Texas Front Porch, Donnie Cho Says Stuff. Of course, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, Blondes and Booze. You know, check us all out. We've got Monica Rollins, Our Paranormal World. We've got Paranormal Paul with Paranormal Among Us. We've got Randy Gilbert, myself with Truth or Tinfoil. You know what? Danielle Diva and the Diva Dimension. Check us all out. Check us all out. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. Come see us. We love you. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.